Haha, well, I'm still here. It's 8:30 at night and I've still got a couple more hours to go. I cut in all the tops of the bottom of the wall down to the baseboard, around the edges of the door frames. Look how nice and tight. I cut that paint into the door frame, the door casings. Look at that. That's a thing of beauty. And down here at the baseboard, I don't know if you could get any better than this. You know? I did a really good job. I must say, so far. I've got a little bit more to go. See there? Look at that. Nice straight tight lines. Look how nice that is now. And I just got done painting the window stools and the aprons, and I ended up deciding not to use my little mini roller after cutting in everything, because with a length like this, even a smaller window stool, when you're using semi-gloss paint, it starts to thicken up a little bit as you're painting it on there. And I was afraid, you know, after I cut in everything, I thought, well, first I did it in 2 stages. I cut in the apron at the bottom and underneath the window stool first. Went all around to the 4 different areas that I showed you before, and I did that first. Okay, then I thought I'll just do the top and have it ready for the mini roller. I didn't want to do one and then have the mini roller sitting there until I did the next one and then the next one. And so I did all that first, went around to the 4 different areas. Then I came back to this one, and I knew I was gonna have to cut it in nice and tight up against the window. Doesn't that look good? Nice straight line. Good grief, am I a painter? Nope, I'm not a painter. I'm not a professional painter. I'm just an average Joe, and if I can do it, of course you can do it. And see, I got it up on the wall. I didn't care if I got it up on the wall because it's dry. As it's drying now, like I said, I got a couple more hours here. I've got this room all cut in. I've got and that middle area, that whole middle area is all cut in down at the bottom where the baseboards is, and around the top edge of the door frames and the side of the door frames. Look how nice and straight that line is. Good Lord. And then I had to go around that and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I thought, okay, I'm going to save this room and the closet towards the last. That way I'll do the window stools, and as the window stools are drying, as these window stools and this top landing area and the one going down there, those are all wet right now, but they'll be dry enough by the time I get done cutting in this room and the closet. And I can cut around the sides of the windows, and by that time these will have skinned up enough to where I can cut in on the walls, you know. But back to the mini roller thought, you know, after I cut it in and did around the edge, I thought, okay, I'm going to put a coat of paint on here, you know, kind of thick, and then I'll run back with the mini roller. Well, as I was going to about here, you know, it starts setting up and it starts getting sticky. If you've ever worked with semi-gloss paint, you know what I'm talking about. And so I thought, you know what, forget the mini roller. I'm getting it on there so nice and even anyways. I'm just going to keep going. And I just went ahead and did the whole thing with my 2.5-inch paintbrush, and it's turning out really nice. Another thing you could do, they have this material. It comes in a quart container or a pint container, and it's called Floetrol. And you put a little bit of that in your paint, in your semi-gloss paint, and it blends your little lines together, you know, that your paintbrush leave. You could use that. I used to, when I did tenant improvements for commercial work, I had a guy helping me, my electrician, and when he did finish paint, like painting door frames and casings and stuff like that, he ended up, I would get him Floetrol and he'd put a little bit of that in. There's a certain formula how much to put in a gallon of paint. And it makes the paint look really good after you get done with the paintbrush. But I didn't have any Floetrol, and I just did it with my paintbrush and it came out looking really good. You can only do little sections at a time, and then when you do the next section, you got to kind of blend it in. And I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with the paintbrush, blending stuff in and going with the paintbrush to blend it into the next area. There's no stopping and starting lines that you'll see on any of my window stools. Okay, and so I thought, hey, it's going good enough. I'm not even going to take the chance of using the mini roller afterwards, because with the mini roller, I've got to stop the mini roller fairly close to the wall or to the window sides. And when you stop that, it's hard to stop it and not make a line. And the mini roller, whatever mini roller you use, even if you use a foam mini roller or one with a 1/4-inch nap, anything looks different than your paintbrush. Okay, so you have to remember that, because if you stop the mini roller right in here, then you're going to have stipple on here, and then you're going to have your paintbrush lines, so to speak, the smoothness. And this is already drying. This is drying. I'm not even going to touch it. I could probably touch this one over here, because that's where I started. And do I dare even show you if it's yeah, see? I mean, I'm touching it, okay? Nothing. I'm touching it. See there? It's already dry. That's already dry enough for me to cut in around there. So with semi-gloss paint, it's really good that it skins up so quick. Now I can go back in and cut in, but you know, I'm going to leave it until I cut in the last room and the closet. Then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to cut in around the ceiling, around the window. I already cut in this side, but see up at the top, I got to cut that in all the way along there and along here. That's how close I got it with. I ended up using a 4-inch mini roller to paint these sides, and I used the frame of the mini roller as my guide. And as long as you don't get any paint on it, you can just push that right up to there and let it gently run up there, and you can get a line just like that with the mini roller. As long as you don't get that edge, as long as you don't have any paint on it. Let me. Where is the frame? Let's see here. I'm just gonna quickly show you. And then I got to get back to work, because I got a couple more hours to go. You see this edge here? As long as you don't get paint on this edge, you can push that right up next to there. See, and the paint roller stops right there. You see what I mean? And as long as you're careful, look at that. You can just go up and around there, and it works out really good. So, anyways, that's what I ended up doing. Now my cut in isn't as much. If you leave too wide of a cut in, and then you've got to blend that in with your paintbrush, and sometimes you put the paint on, and after you cut it in, and then you find out, hey, I got to put the paint on thicker or something, and then you've got to put it on thicker, a little bit, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what I ended up having to do in certain areas around the baseboards and around the door frames and stuff. And lots of times, if you have heavy spray texture on your walls, you got the little dimples, and sometimes you run your paintbrush along there as you're cutting in, and it doesn't cover everything. So then you've got to run the paintbrush the other way, you know, forehand this way and then backhand the other way. And sometimes I've got to cut in a little section of base. I've got to run the paintbrush on there 3 or 4 times even. Sometimes, depending how heavy the bumps are on the spray texture. And sometimes you can go both directions and you still have a little gap and you're like, what's the deal? What do I have to do to fix that gap and to get paint in there? And what you can do with the paintbrush, I'll just show you here. If you've got your paintbrush down here like that, you just take it down there and you kind of wiggle it back and forth, just barely, and you'll get in between the nook and cranny. And see, sometimes I've got to cut in that way, and then I may have to turn my brush around that way and go both directions, because one way is not going to cover all of your bumps on your spray texture, okay? And then, but when you go the other way, you've got a little bit of extra paint on here, plus you got some extra paint on the bumps of the spray texture, and lots of them will disappear. And then I'll go back this way and maybe get the rest. And if I get 1 or 2 stubborn, yeah, that's the word, stubborn ones, I just sit there like that, and wiggle it, and I can get it. And yeah, that's a good way to do it. And okay, that's all I kind of wanted to show you. I'll show you what everything looks like tomorrow. I'm staying here late because the guys are going to be here with the tack strip, the carpet pad. They're going to install that tomorrow, and I really don't want to be in here having to paint. But he assured me, he said, I'm just going to put the tack strip down tomorrow and the carpet pad. I'm not going to install any carpet. Well, if that's the case, I could paint the rest of the stuff over the carpet pad after they leave. But then that's tomorrow night. Then I've got to stay here after they get done. If they stay here till 5 o'clock, I'm still here for a couple hours. So as it is, I just soon get it done now and be done with it. And especially, you know, sometimes guys tell you one thing and they do something else. He's planning on just himself and his son coming out here tomorrow. But if a couple of his guys are done at another job site, he might say, hey, what the heck, let's bring the carpet out there. Let's do the tack strip, the carpet pad, and let's cut all the carpet. Let's put the carpet in. I think we can probably get all done with everything because it's just a small condo. And let's do it. And if he brings 4 guys here, 5 guys here tomorrow, I'm screwed if I don't have the rest of this stuff painted. And then he's like, well, sorry, I didn't want to work over the weekend, and I can't really wait until Monday because I got to start another little project I promised somebody on Monday. And so I brought the guys. I hope it's not going to mess you up. You know, I mean, yeah, worst case scenario, I put craft paper down and then I drag that along with me to do that room and the closet, and then I'd have to bring the craft paper and put it along there, and then be careful when I'm moving the paint brushes and the paint tray and all that kind of stuff. And incidentally, and so I really don't want to mess with that tomorrow. I'm just as satisfied working late tonight knowing that, hey, I don't have to do a whole lot of painting tomorrow, and maybe I can sleep in, or even if I don't sleep in, I can kind of take it easy tomorrow, make sure the guys get here, get them all set up, go off to breakfast, whatever. And here's the paint pan that I ended up using to cut in the bottom section of the wall down to the top of the baseboard, and you know, it worked out. It worked out really good. Well, see, that's not the paint that I use that for the white. You see, I just use those throwaway paint trays. Here's the one that I used. See, and I just took that out and I let it set over there, and that's skinning up. I'm going to end up now reusing that one, I'm just gonna take this one out and let it dry over here. You know, I could just pull this one out. Oh, look at that. It's got a little hole in it right there. Right there, there's a hole in it. So I'm glad there was another piece in there. See, this one's ready to be thrown away. Look, there was a little hole in that one because it leaked down to there. And this next one, I was trying to take the paint out and I ripped it. And see, this one's got a hole in it. See there? Look at that. So those two are ready to be thrown away in reality. And you know, I've got some extra trays, no biggie. And next time I'm at the store, maybe I'll get another 5-pack or something. But I'm just gonna leave these off to the side and let them dry. You know, then I can put my other paint tray in here. And these work really good. This thing's getting kind of heavy because I've got probably 10 layers of paint in here so far. Okay, those work really good for using to cut in at the tops of the baseboard and around the door frames and stuff because I can see where the paint is and so I can just dip just a little bit and then wipe it off here. You know, and then I just push this along with me and drag it along with my knee pad, and I just go and go and go. I'm not going to show you how to paint the bottom of the walls up to the baseboard tonight or anything, but you know, now that the guys are done with the flooring, the laminate flooring downstairs, none of that stuff has been painted yet, and you know, next week after they're done installing the carpets and stuff, I'm going to be going downstairs and I'm going to cut some craft paper and then I'm going to put that along on the floor, on the vinyl laminate floor planking. That's looking sharp, man. And so the only light I got in here is this right up here, but you'll see at the bottom. It still needs to be painted, see? And up at the top, next to the ceiling, that still has to be cut in and painted, the tops of the doors. Well, see, these frames still have to be painted, the door frames still have to be painted, and all that kind of stuff. But see this little section of wall, I ended up painting that earlier, and that way if I got any of this paint on the door casings, I just wiped it off with a sponge. See how, look how close that one is. But I got it. It looks pretty good. And so I've got to do all this stuff down here over the new flooring. But thank goodness the flooring downstairs is not carpet, you know, or I'd be in a world of hurt, right? And I even have to cut in, I even have to paint the baseboards. See, I didn't get a chance to do any of that. I mainly wanted to focus and concentrate on painting everything up there. And say, down here, I'm going to end up putting that quarter round trim down there, probably 5/8, half inch or 5/8 quarter round trim. So when and that'll take up the gap. That'll take up the gap at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is when I cut the paint in, I don't have to really go flush perfect to the bottom. As long as I'm within a 1/4 inch or something like that, the quarter round is going to cover that. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have to be perfect. And plus, if I get just a couple little streaks on the floor, if it's within a half inch of the wall, I don't have to wipe it off. But you know, if I get some on the floor, I'll have a bucket and a sponge and I can wipe it off and stuff. I like to keep it nice and clean anyways. So it's going to be a lot easier down here. And when I get down here and have more time after these guys are out of here, I'll show you how to paint a door frame, a door casing and stuff, and get one whole one done, so you realize, you know, how long something like that's going to take and how how to start it and stop it and be careful on it, and as well as painting the baseboards and stuff. Okay, so enough of that. I wasn't even going to make this little video clip, but I thought, hey, why not? I'm here for another couple hours, so I made a 10-minute video here, and so now I still have to work a couple more hours. So hey, it's for the benefit for you. So I'm hoping that you're learning stuff and you're watching the videos. Hey, if you haven't watched this whole video series on this condo renovation, you might want to start from the beginning so that you can see all the different things that I had to do in here to get up to this point and beyond. Of course, I'm going to make more videos until all of this stuff is done. So I'll show you what the quarter round looks like when it's done. I'll even show you how to install some of that along the way. And I'll show you what the carpet looks like when they're done. I'll show you how they install the carpet tack strip, how they install the carpet pad over a wood floor. They're going to use probably a hammer tacker to attach that, because you want the joints nice and straight and tight together. You don't want to just set them down there and then think, oh, they're not going to move as you bring in the carpet. It never works. Okay, so I'll show you that, and hopefully I'll have time to show you how they use a knee kicker, and I don't know if they're going to use a long stretcher to stretch the carpet from end to end in this particular room. And they've got stairs to do, so I'll show you how they install the stair carpet and how they attach that, because there's certain ways. And if you keep watching, hey, I always say it, the more you watch on my channel, the more you learn. In fact, I'm just an average Joe. So if I show you something on a video, I think you can then be able to do it. Like, I won't show you anything I think you can't do. That goes for the majority of videos that I make, because hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Oh, that's funny. Every time I have the video camera right handy and I want something to say, I whip it on. Here's another tip for you. On my step ladder, see how wide the step treads are? You want something wide like that, and not a 2, get a 3, and not the one with the handle arm right there, or the small one with the handle there. Have it extend up like that. Then if you stand here, you can lean against that, you can grab onto that, you can balance yourself. Wide stair treads. I will never use a step stool again, step ladder, that only have treads that wide. That's an ankle buster, and it's hard sometimes going up and down off of there to get your balance and stuff. You'll see. And of course, if I'm painting down low, like I am getting ready to do, to paint the walls down to the baseboards and stuff, I've always used my little knee pad. Okay? You gotta get yourself one of those. Be safe rather than sorry. If you're gonna kneel down, even on wood subfloors all day long, you'll know what I'm talking about. You're not getting any younger either. And your knees will take a beating. I even got a knee brace on, and a little support brace, and a back lumbar support brace on. And I'm all ready to go on painting and working off the floor all day long. As long as I have my knee pad, baby, I'm good to go. If you don't have a knee pad, you got some old carpet pad laying around, or a strip of carpet, use that for your knee pad. Do whatever you gotta do to be safe rather than sorry.